Hello, hello. Welcome back. Take two. Life coach training for nurses, counselors, and social workers. Us nurses, counselors, and social workers are not tech people, obviously, here. So I appreciate you jumping back on, joining me here. Once I see Krista jump on, I'll add her in, which will be great. Thank you for joining me again. Hopefully I didn't lose any of you. I don't see any viewers on quite yet. But once we get going, we're going to be talking about life coach training for nurses, counselors, social workers. Why coach training can be a great addition to or change in venue, change in career for those who are in the helping profession. Liv, hello. Am I the correct way this time? Please let me know. I'd love to make sure that I'm not all crooked pants over here. Awesome. Who else we got? Let's see if Krista's here. We can add her in. It's not showing me Krista yet. Thank you for your patience, everyone, as we get it. Yay! Thank you. I'm the correct way this time. That feels better. Okay, let me see once Krista gets on here. Here she is. We're going to add her in right now. Yay. Ta-da! Success.
Yay!
Thank you, technology, for cooperating. Welcome. Okay, now I feel like we can get down to business. Awesome. Let me set myself up. Welcome, everyone. Like I've said, I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. We are going to be talking ideally to all of you in the helping profession out there. You counselors, nurses, social workers, dare I say teachers even. We are talking to you tonight. And we're going to talk about all the reasons why coach training can be either an additional supplement to what you're already doing, or a really nice transition into a different career that has a little bit more flexibility for you, less burnout, all sorts of things. We're going to break down all the reasons why life coach training can be awesome for all of you in the helping profession. But before we go there, Krista and I wanted to introduce ourselves a little bit here. For those of you who don't know us, I am Kelly A. Curtis. You'll see me as Kelly Curtis or Kelly A. Curtis online. And I am a coach trainer for IGC's coach training program. In my personal business, I am an intuitive life coach. Yes, I am intuitive as well. Part of the reason you'll hear soon that I decided to be a coach and not a therapist myself. And while I'm an intuitive life coach now, my education is in mental health counseling. I went all the way through my master's to be a therapist. I thought I wanted to be a therapist. I got my undergrad in psychology. This was the picture I had painted for myself since high school, since I graduated high school. I wanted to be a therapist. And then I got all the way through the master's program towards the end when I started applying to internships, and something in my gut just felt off. Didn't feel right. I hated diagnosing people. I hated lots of things about being a therapist, and I decided not to actually go into the profession. So I was left with this sort of education, but no career to be had with my master's. And then a couple years later, I discovered coaching. And I realized at that point, oh snap, the vision I had for myself this whole time was actually me being coach. It wasn't actually me being a therapist. And so I entered the world of coaching, and I realized, yes, this is actually the career choice that has all of the things that I envisioned for myself, all the ways that I saw myself helping people and supporting people and nurturing people and helping people be their best selves and find their life purpose, and all of that stuff fit right into the coaching world, even though it didn't in the therapist role that I was holding. Different space, different energy, and different rules, basically. So that's what led me here. I went through that whole long kind of side detour with mental health, thinking I wanted to be a therapist, to bring me right here as an intuitive life coach and also a coach trainer with IGC's coach training program. I love IGC so much. I help train future coaches as well. And that's how much I love coaching too. I want to help everybody else who's thinking about becoming a coach. And I am lucky because I have Krista here as my student trainer this fall. So Krista, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to know, for everyone who's watching live or on the replay, what profession are you? Are you a nurse, a teacher, a counselor, a therapist, a social worker? So let us know in the comment section, and also let us know what part of the world you're watching from.
Love it.
So yeah, my name is Krista Kathleen. I'm a certified life and business coach, and I am going to be a student trainer this fall. So I'm going to be training with Kelly, and then I'll be a full trainer in the spring. And I was a labor and delivery nurse for 5 years. Actually, I wasn't labor and delivery the whole time. I was med surge for like the first year, and then oncology or cancer for 6 months. And then I just got to the, I'm an empath. A lot of coaches are empaths, and I couldn't take on the energy anymore of sick people. So that's when I switched out into labor and delivery, and it was a lot better, but it still didn't fix things at the end of the day. And kind of like Kelly was saying, like my intuition was always like screaming every day, like, this is not what you're meant to do in life. This is not how you're supposed to help people. And that was so confusing and conflicting. And I so badly wanted to fit in with the other nurses. I just wanted to show up on the hospital floor, and I wanted to do my job, because nursing, you get paid really well, and the hours are amazing, and it's a really great career at the end of the day. But it just didn't feel good inside my soul, and I knew I was meant to do something different. And so we can go into that story later on, but I just wanted to let you all know like where I was coming from with all this. And so yes, I went to the University of Missouri, got my bachelor's in science of nursing, and but now I'm a life and business coach, and I'm so happy with it, so in love with this profession, and it's my dream career. And so now I'm on a mission to like tell the world about how amazing being a life coach is. Okay, your turn.
Awesome. Yeah, we were getting some comments here. We've got Carrie, a coach, goes, hello, Carrie, and Stephanie Ray. She's medical field phlebotomist before she started her own business. Yeah. Entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
help her entrepreneurs. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So that's a little bit about us. You'll hear a little bit more of our stories as we go through our discussion tonight. But basically, why we're here is we wanted to highlight all the reasons for us personally, and we've seen with other colleagues, friends, those we know in the helping fields, why coach training can be an awesome shift and addition to what you're already doing, what impact you're already creating out there in the world. And the first major thing that I can speak to, and I'm sure Krista can speak to too, is burnout. The burnout in the helping professions is a real serious thing. Like it is. Mm-hmm. Krista actually did some research, as us helping professions do. We love our research, right? She found a whole ton of statistics here that I'll let her talk about the rates of burnout in the helping professions. And I knew this was a thing, but when I read these stats, I was a little surprised even. What did you discover, Krista, in the statistics of burnout in the helping professions?
Yeah, I would love to go through those. And just my quick experience with burnout, I was completely burned out. The average burnout rate is 5 years in the nursing field. And I was so burnt out and overworked, I actually lost my nursing job. Hannah, you worked with me in Washington. It was traumatic. It sucked because I had 3 back-to-back cesarean post-ops, and I made a little mistake and I lost my job the next day. And so that's not an uncommon thing at all. And so I just want you all to know that's watching, like, I didn't realize that I was burnt out at the time, until I started working with a life coach, and she helped me to identify it. So I think sometimes what happens is, being tired, being stressed out, being overwhelmed, it becomes our normal. And then we don't realize that's actually not normal to feel that way. And it's so completely dangerous. It's so dangerous for the patients. It's dangerous for our jobs. I lost my job. But yeah, I would love to read some of the statistics that I found. So one is from a survey in May 2017. Kronos incorporated 257 RNs working in the U.S. hospitals, and they said 98% of hospital nurses said their work is physically and mentally demanding. 85% noted that their nursing jobs make them fatigued overall. 63% reported their work has caused nurse burnout. 44% worry their patient care will suffer because they are so tired. 41% have considered changing hospitals during the past year due to burnout. And that's actually something I would switch hospitals like every 1 to 2 years, because I was like, oh, maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get better. And it never got better. It was always the same at the end of the day. So just to read you a couple more definitions, there's a thing called nurse fatigue. So this is a tiredness that can occur during any shift and may be caused by inadequate sleep, long shifts. You guys know what I'm talking about, those long 12 to 16 hour shifts, so hard on your body, physical demands and scheduling issues. And then what is nurse burnout? So the term burnout was found in the 1970s to describe the results of stress among people in helping professions like nursing and medicine. 3 of the defining characteristics of job burnout are exhaustion, alienation from work-related activities, and reduced performance. Okay, and so let's see what else I have. So a few more things. So burnout consists of 3 components: emotional exhaustion, depersonalization of clients, and feelings of ineffectiveness or lack of personal accomplishment. And I remember, like, I was so burnt out to the point, like, I just couldn't care for people anymore. You just all day long, you're being exposed with all these different problems, and you just get so desensitized. And I hated feeling like that, because I was like, these people need help. That's why they're coming to the hospitals. But I just couldn't, I couldn't give anymore. My cup was so empty at the end of the day. And that was so incredibly frustrating. So for anyone watching right now, I just want to hear from you. If you can, give us the wow emoji face and let us know, have you experienced burnout, or have you experienced another common phrase, compassion fatigue? We want to know from you all watching, is this something that, am I the only one who's gone through this? Or I want to hear from you all. Have you gone through this?
Yeah, that's not true. You're not the only one who's experienced this.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like compassion fatigue is a thing, right? Like when you hold space for someone else in that container, whatever that container might be, whether it's nursing or counseling or social work or whatever that is, that alone can be draining. To hear other people's problems all day, or symptoms all day, or what's wrong all day long, can just pull and pull and pull on your energy and energy and energy. And then combine that with, I'm forgetting who mentioned it, I can scroll down in the notes, somebody talked about like staffing issues in hospitals. Like if like staffing's a real thing, that can happen with like social workers. Caseloads are ridiculous for social workers out there, that like they have this much time to hold all the space in the world for someone, and then move on to the next and the next and the next. And this kind of in and out sort of cycle that happens in hospitals and social work and even therapist's office can burn you the hell out. It just can. Like that turn 'em and burn 'em causes burnout for you as the provider of this space, right? So burnout is a real thing, and coaching is a little different, right? Like what I've experienced, I got burnout just going through my master's degree, right? I didn't even go out in the world in that space, and I was already burnout. Like I was like, I don't want to do this as a 9 to 5 every single day. And so coaching makes it a little different, because I can, well, one, the physical demand is much, much lower. And this is probably more in the nursing realm, and Krista can speak to the physical demand too of the nursing. Therapist, you're sitting in a chair, you're talking to somebody. Social workers probably do have a physical demand too, because they do oftentimes have to go from house to house to house in certain fields, if you will. But the physical demand, ooh, that goes way down with coaching if you're moving from the nurse capacity. What was that like for you, Krista, the physical demand?
Yeah, and this is our next bullet point that we want to talk about. So that was a good segue. And I have, again, some amazing statistics to share with you all. So I have scoliosis, and being on your feet for 12 hours with those hospital shifts and then bending over, and a lot of times we're moving so fast, we're not using proper technique. My back was always out of alignment. I was always like going to the doctors, chiropractor. So my back was just jacked up 24/7. And I know that's a super common thing with nurses as well. I actually have a statistic around that. So it said, according to surveys by the Department of Labor Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are more than 35,000 back and other injuries among nursing employees every year, severe enough that they have to miss work. So can I see a heart emoji from you all watching if you've ever experienced a back injury or a physical injury from your service job? And on top of all my back injuries, I actually got stuck with a Hep C needle when I was a med-surg nurse. Luckily, I went through all the blood work. It didn't convert, but again, and so another statistic here is nursing has the highest rate of non-fatal occupational injuries, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Nurses face injuries from manually lifting and moving patients. And then assault, that's another thing. So in mental health as well, assault is also an issue. 1 in 4 nurses have been physically assaulted. There was many times that I got hit by my patients, and I got bit multiple times. And so I don't want to like scare people off. I don't want to tell you to stop doing your career, but at the same time, like if you're starting to feel like your health is in jeopardy, we just want to let you know there's another option. And obviously coaching's so much easier on your body. Like there's some days I'll do client calls from bed all day long, and it's amazing because I'm making money and I'm changing lives and impacting the world all right from my bed. And Kelly, I know that if you want to talk about with your chronic illness.
Totally. Yeah, this is like a huge part of my experience. Well, and you just brought back all this to my mind, Krista, because I was over here thinking like, oh, like I never had the physical part of my job, but then suddenly I remembered I used to have a job in a kids home where kids who were really abused or neglected, they came and lived before they went into foster care because they had severe behavioral problems or traumas. Like they were wards of the state, and I worked in this place, and I have scars from these children on my body from them lashing out and biting and scratching, and you know, it's like no fault of their own. Like I have complete compassion for them. However, I have the scars to show from this work with them that I'll carry with me forever, right? But part of this for me as well is I have an invisible illness. I have a chronic genetic disorder that gives me a ton of chronic pain that I deal with day in and day out. And it got to the point for me when I was out in the world working my 9-to-5 job, just out in the world, it's that alone started to get too physically demanding for me personally due to the state of this genetic disorder. So coaching is an amazing outlet for me because I literally don't have to leave my house. I don't have to leave my bed if I don't want to. Earlier today, I took a bath between calls because I just wanted to soak my joints for a little while, right? Like I can't do that if I'm in an office as a therapist. Like my joints have to wait. And if my joints have to wait, how present can I really be with my clients if I'm so distracted by my physical pain that I can't really even be fully present with them? It's like I feel like I'm doing them a disservice. So like I get to work from home. I get to set my schedule. I get to have that flexibility with myself physically based on what my needs are in any particular situation. And as time rolls on, you know, my needs might change in the future, and I have the full flexibility and the full, you know, decision-making capabilities to make those choices if they do have to arrive. So yay, working from home. That's like a huge one for me personally, in the physical lens, right? How it helps me in my physical state. But also, you know, you don't have to deal with those physical demands on the job if that's part of your helping profession too, because it definitely gets tied up. Helping people can involve helping people physically as well, very much.
And another perk from, oh, hi, Angela. Thank you. I'm so excited you're going to be in our class.
Oh, yay. That's right, yes.
Another great perk from working from home, which is our third bullet point, is if you have kids. Does anyone here have kids? Can you let us know in the comments section if you're a parent, if you have kids? And Kelly and I are not parents yet, but a lot of our clients are. And so we understand that, you know, you want to spend time with your kids in those early years. You don't want to miss those precious moments. And so being able to work online and do a job from home. Oh, see, Olivia, she has 2 little boys. Like that probably means everything in the world of that you can, like I said, make this huge impact, make money, do a job that feels really good, but then you can also be there for your children at the end of the day. So I just think that's huge. I think it's amazing. And I'm planning on having kids in about 2 years. And so I'm so looking forward to like getting my business set up and then being able to like, maybe I'll breastfeed while I'm on a client call. I probably won't do video, I'll do audio, but like you can do stuff like that. Like how crazy is that?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can, I know Kate, yours, another one of our trainers, and she takes Tuesdays off just to be with her kids. She can set that schedule. And even Angela just said like she's too busy being a nurse to think about having kids. So like maybe you could create that space for yourself to be able to, you know, make some different choices for yourself that maybe you thought weren't feasible because you're in your career, right? So yeah, you get to work from home, set your own schedule, create your own pacing. Like pacing is something else that's really tough when it comes to burnout. Me, myself, I need a little window between my clients just to get myself back, to kind of release whatever might have come up in the, you know, in the conversation with client 1. I can fully like let go of that before I get myself into, you know, the space of client 2. And if I'm in a therapist's office, like I have a quota essentially. Like I don't get to set that schedule, that pacing, what feels good to me, all of that stuff. So you really get to just make all of those choices for yourself when you have this environment that you're creating for yourself, which also brings us in kind of a nice segue. I'm feeling naturally flowing into our next bullet point, which is like, we all got like, we likely, I won't say we all because maybe not, but it's likely we got into these helping professions because we wanted to make a difference in the world. That was our goal. We felt that pull in our life purpose. Like I am here to make a difference in the world, to help others. But we forget sometimes that we can like make an impact for ourselves too in that process. Like we kind of have a little bit of martyrdom that runs rampant with us in the helping professions. We want to give and give and give, and we forget like, oh, I'm part of this equation too. And in the coaching world, it's like you can invite in having the impact return to you too. Not only am I impacting others, but I'm changing my own life. I'm changing my family's life. I'm creating a legacy that I can hand off to my children if I choose to. I'm doing my own coaching in the process, so I'm becoming a better person. I'm getting rich doing it, you know, no judgment, right? Like some people get wealthy when they're coaches because they are making that big of an impact in the world. And, you know, the bigger the impact, the bigger the abundance, right? So you don't have to be a broke, overworked, underpaid helper, right? You can turn that purpose into something that actually creates an impact for yourself too. So you're part of this this equation. And when you're helping other people too, a lot of times when you're in the helping professions, there's certain how do I word this? There's certain demographics that are already chosen for you, right? If I'm a therapist, the person has to have insurance. They have to, you know, there's a lot of rules that are sort of put into my space that I don't have any say over or control over. In my coaching world, I can tier what my offer is so that somebody who maybe can't afford a therapist or doesn't have insurance, I can actually figure out how to work with them, right? Maybe you want to do a nonprofit. Maybe you just don't want, like, insurance for me, I'll say this is one of my biggest beefs with the whole therapist world is like, and a lot of people don't realize this, if someone comes to me and I'm their therapist and they give me an insurance card to pay for their insurance because people can't afford all the time a therapist out of pocket, I have to diagnose that person with something for their insurance to pay for it. So here I am, like, let's say Mona comes to me, her husband just died, and she just needs to move through that grief. And she hands me an insurance card. I have to diagnose her with something. And that feels really icky to me. I'm like, she just needs someone to support her. She doesn't need this stamp of a mental health diagnosis following her around for the rest of her life. Like, that feels icky to me. And in coaching, I can completely like skirt that. I don't have to like put something on someone just because their insurance card is in the mix, right? In fact, like, I don't even deal with insurance as a coach, and I can meet people where they're at in a way that feels good to me and meet the populations and the demographics that I want to and make an impact there directly, as opposed to them having to go through the hospital or the social work venue or the therapist's office. It's a more direct route, right? You can completely like circumvent those rules and regulations and whatnot that can be put on you in your job if you have like a helping profession in that way. What's that just bringing up for you, Krista? I'm curious, and everybody that's listening, what's that bringing up for you?
Well, I wanted to touch on something with the money piece. I knew for a while I wanted to start my own business. Both my parents are entrepreneurs, and I just felt it in my soul I was supposed to be doing that. But I stayed in my nursing job because, well, a multitude of different reasons. I put a lot of hard work and paid a lot of money to get my nursing degree. So that was the first one. Second is that I didn't think I was going to be able to match my income. Nurses get paid fairly well, usually anywhere between like 40 to 70 grand per year. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to make that in my own business. And then on top of that, where am I going to find insurance? I was always so used to associating getting benefits through a job. If you're married, then sometimes, you can get it through your spouse's job. But if you're single like me, then it's all riding on you. And so I stayed in that unknown for a long time, and I didn't move forward with making these decisions out of this fear at the end of the day. But what I ended up finding is that I'm already in my third year of coaching. I'm already matching what I made in my nursing profession, and I'm on track to surpass that, actually. And you would never be able to, I'm on track next year to hit 6 figures, and I would never be able to do that in nursing because your body can only take on so much physical labor at the end of the day. But with your own business, you can create a lot of passive income, or you can be a motivational speaker or write books or do retreat. Like, there's so many different opportunities, so many different ways to grow. You can give yourself pay raises whenever you want. So I'm finding that it does take a little bit of patience to build up a business and to get the funds up, but you can go way past what you could in a service, position. And then the insurance too, I was so scared of that, and I got signed up with a plan where I'm paying $200 a month. It's really not that big of a deal, and they have a lot of insurance options for entrepreneurs. You just have to research, go on that little thing called Google, and so it's totally doable. And like, I'm kicking myself now because for years I was like, I didn't make the jump because I didn't think these things were possible. I didn't think they were accessible. But they so are. So like, for anyone watching right now, if like can you guys relate to anything I just said? Like, have you had those fears of like not being able to make enough money? What are you going to do about insurance? Are you going to be able to pay your bills if you leave your job? I mean, I'm sure you guys have experienced that, but like when you have good support, when you have, so like an inner glow circle, when you have coaches that are meeting with you every week and keeping you accountable and going over structure with you and helping you to build your business, helping you be the best damn coach in the world, like you're gonna be successful. And so it's working for me. And so I feel like I just want to let you all know that it's so possible. So that's what came up for me.
I love that you brought that up. Yeah, the pay cap is a real thing in a service job. And it's funny because the mental health side, we tend to not get paid so hot unless you're like a private practice therapist that's like to the stars or something. Like social workers are seriously underpaid. I'm thinking my sister's a social worker and she like barely makes ends meet. Like it's sad, right? But in teachers, like we can all talk about like even Time Magazine this month, I think they released those 3 covers of just like, I'm a teacher in America, and it's talking about how poor they are and they can't really feel like they can do anything about it. So yeah, when you have your own coaching business, there is no cap. You can create that to be supplement to the income you're already creating, or like a whole, like all of your income. You can make it be whatever you want it to be. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wanted to talk about, Jamie actually brings up a really good point. That was something that, Jamie, that was super stressful and frustrating to me, is that like people didn't want to help themselves and they would get diagnosed as like diabetic or these chronic diseases, and then you think, or they'd have heart attacks, and you think that'd be a wake up call, and you think they would be like, oh my gosh, tell me, educate me, tell me what I can do so I can heal, so I can get better, so I never have to be in the hospital again. But I found that a lot of the times wasn't true, that people didn't, I hate to say that, but they didn't care. And then you'd see them back in the hospital again next week, and you're so like, it's almost like you want it more than they want it for themselves at the end of the day. And for us, like healers, we want to heal people. We want to make them better. We don't want to see them continuing to stay sick. And so that just like tore me up every day. It like, oh, it drained me. And so the great thing, having your own coaching business is, like you said, is that people come to you and they're investing good money, so they actually want to see results, they actually want to make change. And that's what's so inspiring, is seeing people being like, okay, I'm ready to actually take responsibility, for my health or my business or my income, and then they're actually ready to do the work. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, Jamie.
Yeah, and that's bringing up another thing for me too, that in line with the burnout piece, because in the therapist role, in the social work role, in the nurse's role, we're oftentimes trying to just fix what's already happened. We're almost playing like, it's like triage almost, like even in therapy is all about healing what happened in the past. And for me, as a therapist role, like that felt really draining. I wanted to take people forward. How do we get past here, and where do you want to go? And in therapy, we couldn't, that's kind of left off the table. Where do you want to go isn't really part of the equation. And even in nursing, like you just said, like, where do you want to go? Well, yeah, sure, I want to heal up my diabetes, but like, is that really, that's still just healing the symptom? Like what's going on? Like where do you want to go is what coaching brings to the table. And that felt so much more supportive when it comes to like my burnout levels. If I get lit up when I'm helping someone get somewhere and they're accomplishing it, and I'm seeing this growth and this expansion and all this like excitement on their end, that actually fuels me. That doesn't burn me out as much like as somebody complaining about their problems all day long. Just feels like a totally different energy that fuels me, as opposed to like contributing to the burnout factor big time. I get charged up when I'm like, that was an awesome call with my client, and like they're like, I'm so happy for them, and they're so excited, and I'm so excited, and it's just a magical moment that like, how can I be burnt out from that? I just can't, right? It's a totally different experience. Yeah. Oh, so many things. And like a lot of us too, we got into these helping professions in the first place because we did feel like we had a gift. Like we are intuitive. You would not be in a helping profession if you weren't intuitive. And if you're not intuitive in a helping profession, you're probably not really interested in it. Like you're probably not going to stick around very long. It's not going to fuel you, right? So when you're creating this business for yourself in the coaching world, you can do things your way with your specific gifts. I love to share this story about my experience because part of the reason I didn't want to become a therapist and what felt so off about diagnosing people is I am clairvoyant. I can see things that other people cannot see. And I know it's not because of a mental health problem. It's because I'm clairvoyant, right? And it felt so out of alignment for me to be sitting with someone and tell them, you have a mental health problem, as I'm seeing like a spirit guide over in the corner. Huge misalignment, because if I said that to somebody else, they might say, you have a mental health disorder, right? I don't want to get diagnosed as schizophrenic over here. So it can feel like a huge disconnect when you're not allowed to actually bring forth all of the unique gifts you have to play with here. Because it's more than just, each nurse is unique, each therapist is unique, each counselor and teacher and social worker is unique and has their own flavor of support that they can offer the world, right? And when you're a coach, you get to turn the volume up on whatever that thing is that makes you different, that sets you apart, that makes up what your actual gift to the world really is. What makes you different is the gift to the world. So when you're a coach, you can hone in and focus on that difference piece, like what makes me unique and special and awesome, as opposed to I have to fit in the mold that the hospital or the counseling office told me I need to fit into. You can create it for yourself. Of course, there's ICF ethical guidelines that is me as trainer and my trainer hat I have to like bring up. There are ethical guidelines here, which is great, right? We all need to have some ethics to be, credible in this industry, and to, all be held accountable in the same playing field to actually support people in a helpful way. However, the coaching world is like a piece of putty. You can create whatever it is you want to create with this. There is no one size fits all when it comes to the coaching world. And for a lot of us in the helping professions, Krista even mentioned this, like she said she didn't feel like she fit in, right, Krista? Like when you were in the hospital, you just felt like, I don't fit in here, is what you were sharing with me before.
That was so painful. Like I never felt like I fit in. And that's like the worst feeling in the world. Like I think at the end of the day, everyone wants to belong somewhere, and everyone wants to show up as their 100% unique self. And this is kind of what you're talking about too. I'm such a creative person. Like I took art classes in Italy for 6 weeks in college, and I like did arts and crafts when I was like a 5-year-old girl 24/7. And I'm such an artsy person. And being a nurse, it's all about following rules and procedures and policies, and which isn't bad. It's a safety thing at the end of the day, but like that just wasn't for me. It was like I felt like my soul was dying every day. And maybe I feel like Katie DePaul would say, wow, Krista, that sounds like your inner drama queen's coming out. But like, it's what it really felt like. And so now, like running a business and coaching is like, it feeds my creative soul, and I view my business like a blank canvas at the end of the day, and I get to paint that picture, and it's so freeing, and it makes me feel alive, and then at the same time it supports me, it pays my bills, it allows me to travel around the world. So it's like, how amazing is that? So is there anyone on here that feels like they're super creative? If you are, can you give me like the blue thumbs up? Because if you are a creative soul, then you are going to make an amazing entrepreneur, because you get to design your business however you want.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Yes. And it's bringing me back, of course, as the intuitive person I am, that like you're creative pipe and your intuitive pipe are the same pipe, right? Like if you're feeling your creative flow, that's your intuition. If you're feeling your intuition, that's your creativity. It's all the same, right? So another layer, us creatives, we're very intuitive all at the same time. And you can put that to work basically for you in your business. You can run a business from an intuitive, creative standpoint that's not restricting. I felt very restricted when I was going through my master's, very restricted about what I couldn't talk about, how I couldn't support people, what I couldn't say, like all this stuff. It felt very restrictive.
So restrictive, yes.
Yeah. And I couldn't talk about all the spirituality stuff that I wanted to. I couldn't take people forward. Like, felt like this much of the whole puzzle that I wanted to help people with. So yeah, that creative flow. I can fit in my own business, right? Because it's my business. I fit in with my own business. It's natural, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is another great thing about IGC. I'll plug IGC here again. IGC, we love diversity in IGC for one, in all the ways. Our leadership team, we joke that we're like the Spice Girls of the coaching world. We all have a different flavor because we all bring. Oh, you haven't? Get used to it, because yes, we all have our own flavor, because everybody has like different needs. Everybody needs support in different areas of their life, right? So let's all come together and create this awesome community where we all can support each other in this network of different ways. It's a beautiful community. Absolutely. And, you know, on that, I feel like this is a nice segue too. If you're listening to this and you're really feeling the draw towards coaching, that coaching is something that maybe has been on your mind, or maybe now you're just kind of opening your eyes to in your awareness, and you're like, hey, this actually might be the thing that I've been craving. Our next round of coach training in IGC starts in October. We're in the next couple weeks of the last couple weeks of enrollment. So there's still spaces. There's still spaces in all 3 class times to fit your schedule. And we would love to have you. We would also love to have a conversation with you and help you figure this out. If this is something you're like, wait, is this for me? We can help you figure out if it's for you and how to make it happen. If it is something you really want, we can have that conversation. How can we help you make this a reality for yourself? We're coaches. That's what we do, right? We can help you figure out how to make it happen. And Krista and I, being both trainers, we want to let you know that if you enroll with either one of us, you also get a bonus from each one of us. So we wanted to let you know what they were, so you might, you know, feel into who you might want to reach out to for those bonuses. For me, as the intuitive leader in IGC, my bonus is a spot in my Intuitionship Collective. My Intuitionship Collective is my program, my signature program in my business, where I take you through all the moving parts of your intuition, your soul age, where your karma is, what your intuitive style is, who your spirit guides are, all sorts of awesome parts that make up your whole picture of your intuition. So if you enroll in coach training with me, you also get a free seat in my Intuitionship Collective that kind of paces right with training. So you can really develop your intuition while you're building your business, while you're, you know, it's a perfect time to awaken your intuition while you're putting those, like laying those bricks, right? Might as well lay intuitive bricks down so you don't have to rearrange them later. Yes, I don't remember that. I've never said it quite that way before. And Krista, what's your bonus for people who enroll with you?
Well, first of all, I want to be in your intuition school or class, or that sounds amazing. Like, what a cool opportunity. But okay, my bonus is, I'm so excited about this. It is a 3-day retreat in Clearwater Beach, Florida. And I actually only have 1 spot left. So this has been a really hot item. I mean, it's going to be 10 women, 10 new life coaches. And we're going to do yoga and Reiki every morning by the poolside. And then we are going to have workshops throughout the day. We're going to have workshops on being-based sales, how to incorporate spirituality into your coaching business. We're going to do like a sex workshop, learning how to own your sexuality and your power and your confidence as a female. And then we're going to go out to dinner on Saturday night. We're going to like dress up in our most powerful outfit that makes us feel sexy and alive and on brand. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Angela, who's on here right now, she's actually my assistant for the retreat, and she's going to be leading the yoga and Reiki sessions. She's incredible. So it's a $2,000 retreat, and it's when you sign up for coach training through me, you get it completely for free. So it's a really sweet deal. And like I said, I only have one spot left. Maybe I'll extend it to 2 spots, but yeah, that's one of my bonuses, just as a thank you for signing up for Inner Glow Circle coach training.
Absolutely. So every trainer has their own little bonus, so keep that in mind, depending on their Spice Girl flavor, right? So check it out if you want to chat with one of us. Krista, can you pop actually I can do it. I have the link right here. I'll pop the link to book a call with, you'll see me there, or you'll see some of our trainers all up in there.
While you're doing that, Kelly, I want to get into the Q&A, and anyone who has questions, feel free to put them in the comment section right now. I'm on Facebook, and there's some questions I saw popping up, and let's see. The comments are disappearing. This is making me sad. Why is that happening? But
I saw one come up earlier, and you had answered it, I think, on the fly.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who it was. Oh, someone had asked me if I did when I was first starting out. So when I first started out, so when I was a full-time nurse and I was starting my coaching business, did I make, and this is a really common question, did I make that full jump right away? And I actually did not. And I personally don't recommend doing that. It does take some time to build up your business and work on your skills. And so I kept my full-time nursing job. And then I started, when you're a full-time nurse, you're working 3 12-hour shifts a week. So then you usually have 4 available days throughout the week to work on whatever you want. So I used those 4 days to start to build up my business on the side. I hired a life coach, and this was before I knew about Inner Glow Circle. I wish I would have done, I'm going to be honest, I wish I would have done Inner Glow Circle right away, because it's going to fast track your results. And the minute I joined Inner Glow Circle is when I started like really bringing in the money and actually knew what I was doing. I didn't really know what I was doing the first year. But yeah, so I recommend that it's good to like keep your full-time job so you have that steady income coming in, and then start to work on building that business on the side. And then also, of course, going through coach training as soon as possible, because I think of coach training as like, I mean, it's going to school for a profession. And so like, you would never go to a doctor who hasn't been to med school or hasn't been to grad school, right? Like I would never in a million years go to a doctor who was like, oh yeah, I just like figured it out on my own. I'm just practice on my own. And so it's the same thing with coaching. Like you don't want to hire a coach who hasn't been through a training that is through the International Coaching Federation, which is the top credentialing center in the world. So I just think it's a really good idea to invest in yourself in that way. And then that's what's going to make you feel the most confident. Like, I know that first year that I didn't do Inner Glow Circle, I struggled with confidence all the time. I was like, why, if I didn't go to school for coaching, why would people pay me for this? Like, I didn't feel legit. I felt like a fraud actually every single day. And that showed up on my sales calls. And then when I actually enrolled in training, I was like, okay, I'm actually taking the steps to be a legit professional. So I can, I started charging $150 an hour, and it felt really good to do that. And it gave me that permission to start doing that. So I'm really glad that I did Inner Glow Circle. I just wish I would have done it sooner, to tell you the truth. But
yeah. And even myself, like having went through my master's in mental health therapy, I still got my coaching certification. I knew that there was going to be difference enough between the two professions that I needed to get a separate training. I did not want to just wing it and trust that, oh, I know mental health, so I can do this. It's different, guys. I'm telling you, ladies, I'm trying to not say guys anymore consciously. Ladies, it's different. It just is. It's a different type of helping. And so I'm an overachiever. I got 2 coaching certifications. And I'll note this to kind of balance Krista's experience. I was one of those that just said, F it, I'm not doing this anymore, and just quit my job. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew it wasn't going to be that anymore. I was managing a Planned Parenthood in Texas. So you can imagine the stress that went along with that. And I just said, F it, I'm not working here anymore. And I left with a mortgage, I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills, nothing. And I made it happen. So even if you are one of those that is like, I just can't do this anymore, like, you can make it happen. I made it happen, right? Here I am. I'm still in my business. I didn't know how I was going to pay for anything. And wow. I made it happen, right? So that can happen too. I just wanted to balance that out. If you don't want to keep your job, like, that's a bigger risk. Of course, you're gambling a little bit higher, but that's your choice, right? That it can happen. I made that choice. I literally went blind, like, F this, I'm out.
That's amazing. I couldn't have done that back then. I wish I could have, but yeah, I think it's cool that you're right. We have my example of like playing it a little bit more safe, dipping the toe in the water, easing into it. But then, you know, you have your example where you're like, just fuck it, I'm going for it. So, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's your decision, your business. Like, you can literally do whatever you want. There's no right or wrong here.
Absolutely. So put up any questions that are coming to mind, and I'll encourage you all again to book a call with us. If this is really sparking your interest and you want to explore this more, we'd be happy to explore it with you and figure out if this is the right fit. We have about 2 weeks left in enrollment. We start the first week of October. Krista and I are the dynamic duo together in our collective. So if you like our groove, perhaps our collective is the option for you. But we have 2 other class times as well. I'll note, since I mentioned our Spice Girl flavors, Kate Ure, if any of you are in the health profession, I was a bit mouthful there. Or if you're in the health profession, she is our resident health Spice Girl. And Shannon Whaley does Thursday class during the day, and she is our resident, like, visibility, tell your story, general wild woman, badass vibes. So you got your flavors in your class times. Anything else you want to add, Krista?
Let me check our notes. I think oh yeah, there is one thing. Your intuition's always spot on. So I reached out to Olivia Chapman today, who is the COO and Director of Training of the Inner Glow Circle, and like my role model and idol in life. She's amazing. And I asked her, I was like, so the spring class that started in March, and they just graduated last month, I was like, what percentage of these women that were in the training were in service professions before? You know, so we're yoga teachers, counselors, nurses, all that, social workers. And she said that she went through and she counted and tallied up, and she said that 50% of the people in the class were in service professions. So like that's why we're doing this training tonight, is we've been following trends, and I'm looking at the wrong camera. Okay, now I'm looking at it. We're you're like, why am I looking over here? We're following trends, and we're seeing that there's a correlation between women who want to get into the service area because they enjoy helping people. They're nurturers, they're healers, they're teachers. And so this is just a great natural flow and natural fit for that next step. A lot of times what happens is in your 20s, something will feel good, something will feel right. And then you start to get into your 30s, which is a whole nother decade. And then you start having different desires and wants and needs. And that's okay. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. or that you made the wrong choice. It's just that your soul is outgrowing maybe your current life or your current profession. And so it's okay to say, all right, what's next? And so we really feel that training to become a coach is that next step. And so that's why we did this training for you all tonight. So we just want to let you know that, I'm not going to say if, when you decide to join the fall class, you're not going to be alone. There's going to be other women who are experiencing and going through the same thing, and in feeling overwhelmed, feeling burnt out, ready to give their bodies a break, ready to, try a new career. And another thing too I heard is that the average person has like 3 careers in their lifetime. And so it's okay to switch. It's okay. Even if you went to college for your degree, maybe you're still paying off student loans. I know that Olivia's still paying off her student loans. I'm assuming Kelly is as well. It's okay. Like, you don't have to feel guilty. It's okay to train in this new area. And then you're going to make really good money with coaching. It's really, easy after a couple of years to start to bring in 6 figures, and you can pay off those student loans. You may actually be able to pay off those student loans quicker than if you stayed in your current career. It's just kind of a different perspective.
Totally. I love that. Yeah. You won't be alone in the healthcare profession. And yeah, I noticed Jamie, book a call. She'd love to learn more. We both seem wonderful. Thank you. You seem wonderful too. Book a call with us. We'll figure it out. Is part of the training and neurological? No, we don't do any type of, that's more of a therapeutic, neuro-linguistic programming. That's more of a therapeutic treatment, and coaching is separate from any type of therapy. So I put a link up here about for the sale. The end of my day, my mouth isn't quite working like it should. And now my dogs are barking because I hit my hand on the table. I put a link up there, get my brain back together, with a lot of information about the program. The first half of the program is going to teach you all of the coaching skills, what makes coaching different from whatever other helping profession you might have already been a part of. By the end of the first semester, you are going to know all the ins and outs of all of your coaching skills. This is where a lot of programs just kind of set you off and go, hope you win. You learn the coaching skills, love you, bye, right? We take a whole second semester and focus on coaching business, okay? So some of you out there might feel really confident in, like, I can help people. I know, like, I can hold the space for somebody, but I know jack crap about running a business. We've got you, okay? We've got the whole second part is how to actually run the business. So when you leave training, you actually have a functioning business that you can go out there in the world and share and actually have paying clients. Not only have a client in the chair with you or over the phone with you, but actually attract those clients. How am I getting clients into my business? How am I maintaining my business? How am I doing all these business things? Well, we got you covered there too. That's part of the reason why IGC is the best coach training program in the world. I will repeat that. I agree with that statement because I know I would not be in business now if I had just done the other coach training program I did. I would not be in business right now. I guarantee it. I'm in business now because of IGC and the skills and the tools and the confidence and the community and all that stuff that come along with it.
Oh, that's another thing too. I was a health coach, so I went through a lot of different coaching levels before I became a life and business coach. But I was a health coach for a little bit, and then I was a pregnancy coach, and now I am what I am. But like when I was a health coach, I went through the ACE health training, so American Council on Exercise. I'm sure some of you know what that is, and it did not teach me anything. It did not prepare me for anything. Like, it was just basically reading out of a textbook and then taking an online test, and it didn't teach me how to coach. It didn't teach me how to run a business. And so I paid I think $800 for that training, and I basically walked away from it feeling like learning that, okay, I can't prescribe meal plans because that's what a registered dietitian does. That is the only thing I literally feel like I got from that. So there's a lot of different type of coach training programs out there, but and they might be cheaper, they might be lower, but you have to really like ask yourself of like, what's the outcome that you're looking for at the end of your training? And you're probably looking to actually use your new skill that you learned and be able to, start a business or either make money from it, versus just having, that certification sit on the shelf essentially. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Love it. Yeah. So lots of reasons and
so many
bonuses and impacts that coaching can do. Like if I wish I would have known this before my master's degree student loans, frankly. But live and learn. Now I have all those extra, skills in my pocket. But love this. Teresa is a former student. She mentioned in the comments, if any of you want to hear from a former student, she is graduating right now. I'm literally grading Teresa's work this week from her coach training. So she's graduating like right now, waiting to hear those final results. So she said she'd be happy to share her experience with any of you who might want to hear from a former student. That's a really great place to reach out, our former students. They love to talk about their experience. Yay. Teresa did a lot of research. Yay. Mm-hmm. Yay. So those are all the points of what we wanted to share with you guys tonight. Thank you for hanging out a little bit over the hour, since it took us a little bit of tech difficulties at the start to get me not sideways. Any questions come up for anybody watching on replay, please put those in the comments. We will, of course, be monitoring these comments moving forward as people see the replay. So don't hesitate to throw them up there. Book a call if you want to feel into coach training. And remember those bonuses that Krista and I have. If you sign up with one of us, you can get lots of extra goodies to support you along the way, depending on what your needs are. Thank you for spending your evening with us, and we will see you soon. Anything you want to add, Krista?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge all of you. The work that you're doing is so strenuous. It's physically demanding. It's emotionally demanding. So I don't think that we thank service providers enough for the work that they do and acknowledge them for just showing up every day and making yourself available and pouring your heart and soul into your patients. And so if you can take anything away from this video today, just know that like we've been where you're at, and we see how hard you're working, and don't forget to take care of yourself. It's so easy to focus on everyone else, take care of everyone else, and you put yourself last. And so it's just really important to remember that you deserve so much love and so much self-care, and we so want to give that to you because you deserve that. So thank you for watching.
Beautiful acknowledgement. What a beautiful end. Let us know if you need us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.